But finally we move on to the differentials. This is the last part of the video. I'm going to take a look at 9 different differentials I picked out this week, starting off with an ex-Arsenal keeper plying his trade in South Wales. Lucas Fabianski is owned by just over 4% of people and has scored 7 points in his past 2 game weeks. His next 5 fixtures are Palace, Newcastle, Tottenham, Watford and West Ham, which shows an improvement in fixtures, and I feel like Swansea improved last season under Paul Clement and could improve again this season, and I feel like he's definitely going to be one to consider for your cheaper option in goal. Sticking with the theme of Swansea players, we're going with Kyle Norton, who's owned by just over 2% of people. As I'm recording this, he's got half the ownership of Fabianski, and of course we know the fixtures for him coming up, and it could be good. Could be a few clean sheets in there, could be a few attacking returns. Now £4.5 million, he's nice for a 4th or 5th defender slot, just to have him in there, just in case he scores big. Kieran Trippier's next one we all should be considering. £5.4 million gets you a 2.7% of ownership. Kieran Trippier. Burnley, Everton, Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield. Need I say more? Those are 5 games in which Spurs could get 5 clean sheets, and Trippier, when he played 12 games and got 5 assists last season, could be set to start his assist tally again this season. With a few easy fixtures coming up, he'll be licking his lips. Another player from one of the bigger teams is Pedro, who comes in at £7.9 million, owned by under 2% of people. Only scored 3 points so far with an assist, an important assist from Marcus Alonso. He has the next 5 fixtures of Everton, Leicester, Arsenal, Stoke and Man City. Tough fixtures, but Pedro is a man that makes a difference in those fixtures, and he's assisted already once against Spurs. He's below his price where he should be, and owned by just under 2% of people. He could be a massive differential for your teams to give you that vital Chelsea coverage. One to keep your eye on is Matt Phillips from West Brom. He's valued at £6 million, owned by around 2.5% of people, has 9 points in the first 2 game weeks. Stoke, Brighton, West Ham, Arsenal and Watford are his next 5. Stoke, West Ham and Watford being the home games. I feel like it could be really good for West Brom. Could be even seeing their 100% start for the next 3 game weeks. Of course Arsenal is a bit tougher, but maybe even through Arsenal. And Phillips, I feel like he started well, started brightly, and could be looking to continue his attacking returns for a couple of game weeks at least. Another midfielder from a bigger team, and definitely one to say it's definitely a risk, is Anthony Martial. £8 million gets you the super sub Frenchman, owned by just over 2% of people. 16 points in 25 minutes on the Premier League field, and with Leicester, Stoke, Everton, Southampton and Crystal Palace coming up, I feel like Martial could be one to chance your arm if you can't afford Pogba and Mkhitaryan because the price rises. Martial coming off the bench shows good value. Mikel Antonio is the last midfielder I'll tell you to get, and he's owned by just under 0.3% of people, which is insane. £7.5 million, he got 5 points in his first game back, a nice little assist for one of the goals. Newcastle, Huddersfield, West Brom, Tottenham and Swansea coming up for West Ham. Feel like people could be overlooking him a bit, and Mikel Antonio could be really good value. He was really good last season, one of the West Ham's best players, and I feel like it could be again this season. Proved it coming back, and it could be a big season for him. Time for a few risky strikers. We have Jordan Ayew from Swansea. He's owned by just under 2% of people, but he's £5 million, which is a very cheap option for your attack if you want to get those monies for like the De Bruynes and the Hazards if he comes back, the Pogbas, the Ericssons, the Dele Allis in your midfield. He could be one to consider. Now granted, he has no attacking returns, but Palace, Newcastle, Tottenham, Watford and West Ham up in the next 5. Jordan Ayew could be looking at a few attacking returns imminently. And lastly, we have DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin of Everton. £5 million again, owned by 1% of people, and assist in both the first 2 game weeks. Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Bournemouth and Burnley coming up. Granted, they are hard fixtures, but looking at Calvert-Lewin, I feel like he's the person that made a difference against Man City with his physicality, his pace, his strength, his determination, and I feel like against Chelsea, Tottenham and Man United, he could do the same.